We want to head to New York for a live update on the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Always waiting to hear the latest Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Craft. Great to see you. Tell us more about today.
Did you leave before the end?
Well, good afternoon to you, Judge Ashley. Court is over now for the day, an early end to the court day today. It's going to be ending around this time for the remainder of this week due to some scheduling conflicts. But before court ended, Kerry Morgan, she was on the stand. She is the former best friend of Cassie Ventura. When I made my way outside of that courthouse earlier, I was standing in the lobby, and Kerry was standing right there with one of the federal prosecutors. Kerry seemed like she was in very good spirits after her testimony. If you want to analyze her testimony and talk about what they really got from her, the main thing was she was the friend that Cassie went to after that incident at the Intercontinental Hotel. That famous video that we have seen, infamous video we have seen of Sean Combs dragging Cassie across. Well, they were together after that incident, Cassie and her friend Kerry Morgan. And then eventually the police came. Cassie talked about that on the stand and how, Kerry talked about that on the stand and how Cassie did not say anything to the police about exactly what took place after that particular incident. Another thing that we got from Kerry Morgan was about their relationship, about there were good times and there were bad times when she was part of this circle with Sean Combs. Also, that $30,000. So the last time that she saw Cassie Ventura was at a pizzeria. So Sean Combs, according to Kerry Morgan's testimony, assaulted her with a wooden hanger. She grabbed her, he grabbed her around the neck, hit her with a wooden hanger. And then shortly thereafter, about a month later, Cassie Ventura and her met at a pizzeria. Cassie told her that she was overblowing the situation, exaggerating what took place. She then said and asked her if she would sign a non-disclosure agreement and offered to pay her $30,000 to not talk about this incident. So that was a lot of the testimony from her today. We can also put up some other information from that testimony because, of course, this is federal court, no cameras in the courtroom. So she really was talking about that 2018 assault on Morgan, and the defense attorney suggested the $30,000 that she was given from Ventura. She was really being, asked about that while she was on the stand. Morgan maintained that her understanding was that the money was from Combs, although defense counsel was asking her, well, who gave you the money? Who asked you about the money? And she was saying Ventura. She said that Ventura has not reached out to her since the incident. And defense counsel tried to pick up on that, saying, why haven't you guys talked since? She said, I draw the line at physical violence, and Cassie Ventura was not supportive of me after that incident. So, again, former best friend that was on the stand most of the day. She's originally from Buffalo, New York, but has had quite an interesting life since then, traveling around with Cassie Ventura across the world, talking about hanging out with her in South Africa, as well as Ibiza, Miami, LA. She was really part of the circle with Sean Combs and Cassie for a number of years, but of course, no longer speaking. Also, this morning, we did hear from another witness who was on the stand. That was Dawn Richard. Her testimony was pretty intense, Judge Ashley. Aggressive cross-examination of her, as the defense counsel pointed out, a number of inconsistencies in her testimony. The last witness on the stand today, so only a short amount of time, David James, a personal assistant of Sean Combs, and he's just beginning to get into his testimony, how he worked grueling hours for Sean Combs, and how during his interview to get a job with Sean Combs, he was told during that interview from someone in a human resources department, if you will, that this is Sean Combs' world, this is his kingdom, and we are meant to serve him.
Woo, those words may serve the federal government well during this prosecution. I bet that's going to be repeated in closing arguments. Thank you so much, Kelly Craft, for all your excellent reporting there live in New York. And I want to bring back in criminal defense attorney Jack Rice. Jack, those words, I mean, that's what the government has to do. It's not enough to say here was one victim or two victims that were abused by him and were coerced and forced into doing these things across state lines. They also have to show the racketeering part, and that is that he had a criminal enterprise, that he used all these other people to conduct his criminal activities. How do you think the feds are doing so far?
Very well. They're doing well because they're approaching this like the R. Kelly case. I mean, they really are. This is how we're seeing this. And if you go back and you look at organized crime in the first place, the real strength of it is this, Your Honor, is that when you're talking about an individual defendant, You're essentially saying, what did he do directly? When you're starting to talk about a criminal enterprise, you have the ability to essentially take whatever bad act that was done by anybody else and wrap it around the neck of the defendant themselves. It's an extraordinarily powerful kind of prosecution. And in this particular case, the one thing that the government has, that they really possess, is they possess that one videotape. And everything that they present, you wrap around that and you say, is he capable of this? Just like you saw that he was capable of that. Of course he was. And you're going to see them use that videotape as a superstructure, as a foundation, and they're going to build around it. And frankly, what they're really building is a federal prison.
Yeah. But the defense is very aggressive, very seasoned, very good. Hearing that they're, for instance, destroying cross-examination inconsistencies in one of the witnesses' stories. Are they going to be able to raise some reasonable doubt? They might. We'll have to wait and see what the jury does, of course, with the daily updates.